here with Adam Newman from Bandai Tamashi Nation. We're going to go over the whole product line today with you.
Hello, CollectionDX. Following the release of the GX45, which has already been sold in the States to a well-acclaimed release, we'll be following up the Energy Z. A lot of people, there's been information dispersed before. A lot of people didn't know the coloring for this, and it's been here at the con. They're seeing this brilliant metallic red, and it's creating quite a topic. We'll have that here in the States in the early fall, so we'll be shipping that out. But following that, I think the real thing that's getting people stirred up here is the GX49 over here, which is going to have, and that's a prototype that's sitting up there, and that will also be out in the fall, and that's going to have a transformation gimmick that's never been done with die-cast before. The whole thing's going to basically turn into a fist. Again, this is the new Shin Mazinger, the Mazinger Impact that's on the new anime in Japan, and so that's the real item, the eye-catcher here that we have at the con that everybody's talking about.
A lot of the fanboys have been hearing from the net, they really don't like that gimmick. They kind of think it's kind of hokey.
Right.
I think it's kind of cool. It's definitely
But it's always been about the punch.
You're right, it's always been about that punch. Well, now you got him.
I think the whole idea, even from when we go back to the Soul of Chogoking, the first Mazinger that came out in late 1997, it's all been about the modern technology applied to a vintage Japanese robot and making the transformation gimmick seamless. Making all the firing seamless, the block and punch seamless. And this gimmick that's happening here, it's something that happens in the anime. So they're just replicating something that will happen in the anime, and the whole idea is to take Go Nagai's vision, whatever's in the anime, and make it perfect, make it seamless in the actual toy. So it's not something we came out like a kid's toy saying, we're going to make it turn into a giant fist. We're saying, here's what's going to happen in the anime, and here's going to be this awesome giant, this final weapon.
Now I know it's showing a lot of the older Chogoki in the line. Are we going to see that in America too? Are you guys going to bring up older products?
We're bringing back some re-releases. I mean, the hover piler over here is re-released using the same tooling. We changed the coloring on it. We brought it back to get it because there hasn't been a lot of Papinica, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, in the market. But basically, yeah, the vehicles, the die-cast vehicles are really an important part of the whole soul of line for us. So we're bringing back our hover pile there as well.
Are we going to get the head too?
No, right now we don't have, nothing's been officially announced about the giant head. Something we're considering, something we're being asked a lot about. We're taking into serious consideration as well, is bringing back the head, something for it to land in. We are bringing back, we have re-released, and this is will be in the States, if not late summer, early autumn, is the UFO Grendizer.
GX04?
Yeah, so this is the next one. So following up, we are bringing back our Grendizer, the UFO Ojasset, and this is just in, of course, correlation. And there's always been some sort of, they're both Nagai creations, Go Nagai creations, so there always has been that connection for us when we market Mazinger. There's also always an interest that's stirred in Grendizer as well. So this is something that we thought we would want to bring back. It would be timely and appropriate, and so far the response has been really good. And this will be here in the US in a few months as well. So fans can look forward to this re-release.
And we got the exclusive right here.
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot of stuff with Mazinger in the booth, and I don't know, I guess maybe we'll get to that later. But one of the things we wanted to do, this is our second year on the Comic-Con. Last year we did Getter Robo for our exclusives, and this year we want to go even further back. Go back to the way basics, before there was real giant robot with somebody piloting it, but getting, like a almost radio control robot that, you know, what Tenshin 28 really is. And so we wanted to go extremely vintage, we want to go simple, and we went naked as well. This is the naked Tenshin 28. He was the exclusive in our Tamashi Nations event in Akihabara. He got so much praise that we said, okay, well, let's bring over some to Comic-Con. And we think we'll probably try to stay with that, because the whole idea of what we want to do with Tamashi Nations is create the global experience that starts with Japan, bring that same authentic product into the US, and so to do that with an exclusive that we had in Akihabara, and then bringing it here to Japan to our core fans is something we look forward to continuing doing for future Comic-Cons as well.
So we're not going to have any changes in the packaging and all that stuff?
Well, what we do have is we do have our Comic-Con on the packaging. We made that to show that we are representing the con here. But this is essentially inside the same exact product that was in Akihabara. For us, you know, we say exclusive, limited to one show, but what we want to do for our Chogoki from here on out, this is not necessarily our other exclusive, but especially with our Chogoki, is take something that we did in Akihabara and then bring it here. We may have in the future something where we do something in Comic-Con and then bring it to Akihabara, but we want to keep our Tamashi Nation events exclusives. At least maybe right now we're thinking for a Chogoki, kind of like a global thing, and probably keeping it strictly mostly with Comic-Con and any Tamashi Nation event that we would have in Japan and perhaps Asia.
Sounds good to me. All right, tell us about the Super Deform line.
Yeah, well, this has been this is a great line for people who like die-cast, lots of accessories. Some people who are not even so fond of the SD series just like this for all the accessorization that it has, all the options that are in the box. We started a little bit evil with this one, with Satan Gundam, but we're moving on in the fall with Command Gundam over here. And you can see with the accessories how it's not just one product. You could do so many things with it. So one of the comparisons that's drawn is not so much actually to our Chogoki lines, where they use a diecast here, but kind of to Seiya. And it's been very popular in our markets that have been Seiya popular as Asia, because there's so much accessory in there. There's so much armor, and nothing's held back. This isn't a cheap plastic SD Gundam. This is a die-cast Gundam with tons of accessories where the user can pose in various different suits, formats, replicating the different powers and gimmicks that they have.
Will we see an RX-78?
In the SD series, no, you won't. It comes from, this SD comes from kind of a spin-off series that was taken to a card. So it's focused on the SD Gaiden series, which is a particular Gundam series. So we won't go into the standard RX-78. It will be all the, originally we started with Night Gundam and all those kind of aspects of Gundam. It's kind of like Gundam taken medieval, then we go into Gundam taken military. Right now we don't have any standard Gundam planned in diecast. Oh, here are the Night Gundams. I'm sorry, I missed these before. Night Gundam and Full Armor Gundam.
And is this one right here the L Strike Gundam?
Yes, that's correct. Gundam C, the L Strike Gundam. Basically, this is part of a new series. It's an offshoot of our standard GFF, or Gundam Fixed Figuration series. It's still designed by Hajime Katoki, the famous sculptor. But with the GFFN is for us, it stands for Next Generation, and we're incorporating different composite materials into it. So it's not just going to be plastic. We're going to use other materials to build weight and more proportion with the figure.
Palm and stuff like that?
Well, Palm, we'll go with that in our robot spirits, but we're actually like similar to our Tamashi spec. There will be sometimes die-cast in there, the main body parts. We'll be used more of ABS and PVC to get, you know, the ABS, the sharpness, the PVC to support more the heavyweight parts and get more proportion. Using very carefully selecting which parts we use for those materials to basically authenticate and make it look as precise as possible.
Weight and speed, so it can stand, right?
Yes, well, they mostly will come with stands as well, so you'll have it floating off the ground.
Okay, I'll move forward. We're going to show you the Robot Spirits line. Adam?
Well, you mentioned before, Dan, about Palm, and basically this is a series that's also taking the composite material approach, using Palm in the joints for fluid articulation. This is going to be a very high articulation line.
How far away?
What we did is, late last year, we wanted to upgrade our MS in Action line and create something totally different. Really, instead of, MS in Action was traditionally our lower price point Gundam line. What we wanted to do is get outside Gundam as well. So in this case, we're also working with Code Geass, Lelouch. We're also working with Eureka 7 as well. So we have 3 properties. In Japan, we'll be doing the Macross Frontier. We'll be coming out with, also we have a Gundam Unicorn, which I'll show you later, which you probably want to get a close-up of that. So we'll be representing not only all of the Gundam items, but also Code Geass and other robot properties as well. So you can expect expansion on that into even beyond the 3 that we're showing here in the future. The idea is we are using no die-cast here, but we're using the ABS, the PVC, the POM in specific areas to get the articulation as fluid as possible. You can see the sharpness of the figure. It goes great with the stands, which we'll be offering later in the market. We have these in Japan, but we think we're going to need to bring them here because they look great when they're up in the air.
So let me ask you, Adam, jump right in. What's the price point?
Well, these vary, but they are still what we consider our lower price point line, which is starting upwards from probably $20–$25 in the US. But we will have items here that go probably close to the $50 range as well. Some of them will be larger. So there will be a variety of price points, but these are generally for us lower price points. Again, we're not costing down on this though. This isn't a mass merchandise action figure. We're not taking out accessories. We're adding as much accessorization as possible to allow for variety, additional posability.
So basically we're getting a cheaper price point, we're still getting a quality figure.
Exactly. When we made this series, we weren't thinking so much about MS in Action, the predecessor. Actually, what we were thinking about, as we were thinking about with the Gundam Fix Next Generation, is we were thinking about the success we've had with our Tamashi Spec lines, with all the Evangelion, with that sort of composite material, the really high articulation, and we wanted to take that and condense it down to a slightly smaller scale, put it into an open package so you could see the figure inside. Basically, using that Tamashi spec as a reference point for this line.
I can't help but think these are almost competing with Revolve Tech. They kind of have that.
I wasn't going to say anything, but they're right over there, and you can see the comparison of crowds later. Maybe you'll want to film that. I wouldn't go and say that this is a Revoltech killer, but if it is, I don't have any problems with that.
Oh, we wish you the best on that, anyway.
Okay.
Here we go. Is
right there.
I recognize Gundam.
Yes, Gundam 00 has been a big focus for us when we started out the line. We have the Exia right here up front. The O Gundam is already in the market and it's doing really well here. Of course, the things that everybody's looking forward to is after Gundam 00, which is now I know in the States is on here at the Sci-Fi channel, we're moving on to Gundam Unicorn based on the novel, and everybody's really looking forward to this. We brought the prototype over here. There's tons of people taking photos of this one right there in the middle. We brought that in from Tokyo. We hand carried it over from the Tokyo Toy Show.
Wow, beautiful. Want to get a close-up of that?
Already have.
Gotcha. Long Adam, last panel here. What do you got for us?
Well, we do have the Avalon, which is Gundam 00, Godessa, which is out now. But one of the things that is really drawing people over here is something, it's an older property, but the Crossbone Gundam. A lot of people don't even know Gundam. We have a big panel of a Gundam pirate up there. They say, oh man, it's a pirate, it's a robot, it's a pirate, it's a robot. If you look at the mantle on these and you look at the detail we go into it, I think the Crossbone Gundam, which will be coming out in August here, is a good representation of the line and the detail that we've got.
I'll tell you, I'm looking at the detail of these figures and they're absolutely beautiful. And, folks at home, you don't really see this, but they're actually kind of breathtaking. A few of them, you cannot believe that for the size of the figure how much detail they've actually packed into it. So I think a lot of people are going to be for a real treat to buy these figures. I mean, just look at some of them. For instance, top figure. What is that, Adam?
I believe that's turn A.
I mean, look at that. It's beautiful.
You're gonna have to cut that one out.
Let's get away from Gundam for a second, Adam. Let's talk about the Eureka 7 figures in the middle here.
Yeah, we have a couple of them out in the market right now. Actually, the one on the far right, Type the N. These are the Nervash, and they're sitting there surfing on their boards. Again, these are kind of these ones go into the higher price points. We're really pushing the limit of details on this. Actually, people have been talking about about the Arbalest as well, from Full Metal Panic, which is again another, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that previously, but in addition to the 3 properties, Air 7, all the Gundam properties, and Code Geass, we're also moving into the Full Metal Panic as well, and a lot of people are talking about the Arbalest over there. Now this was taken from a prototype, people talking about how that one has 2 left hands, and we know that, but it was taken from a prototype, so if the fans at home will forgive us for that one.
I'm glad you just said that, because I'm just going to ask you.
Yeah, why has he got 2 left hands? We're not going to lie to you here. It's like, we had a choice of having his hand off or 2 left hands, so if you will forgive us for that one, we're honest with you, he will not have 2 left hands in the final product.
We forgive you.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's move on, shall we? Pretty sure right here, folks, we have I would call it, I can't even give words, it's like the Super Chogoki. It's an urban material Chogoki. Now I'm not sure, that's carbon fiber on there, correct?
That's right, it's carbon fiber and titanium. It's actually very lightweight. Titanium is known for its lightweight properties. Of course, carbon fiber is as well. This is one of the highest grades of carbon fiber. We brought this over from the Tokyo Toy Show. Previously, we showed it at the Japan Expo in Nord, France. So we've been taking this, I should call it a puppy, I don't know what you would call it, around the world. But it's been quite a stir. A lot of people taking photos of this. Urban material Chogoki, for us, we've had other offshoot Chogoki series before, a Deno Chogoki. I don't know if you remember that from Standalone Complex. We had the Tachikoma that plugs into your computer.
Yes.
We've done Oyako Tofu, a guy with a big tofu head. We've had these silly offshoots. We've had electronic offshoots. We would probably categorize this as somewhat of a hardcore offshoot.
Well, yes. Why don't you tell the fans the price point of this?
Well, this is would price at $20,000, so not quite at your.
You heard that correct. $20,000.
Yeah, I didn't forget a zero either, or add an extra one. It is $20,000. There's only one in the world right now. If anybody's interested, they're free to contact me or you. It's basically for us. This for us is really about creating an art piece. We've transcended anything that's a toy here. This is pure objet d'art.
Now let me ask you something. Is this fully posable like every other?
Actually, the upper torso is, but the legs are solid. We did that for a reason, but he is solidified at the leg. But you will be able to move his elbows and shoulders.
Not that we're.
But he's not a toy. The only thing you want to do probably is have him go into that rock and punch stance.
We will not be reviewing this particular toy, okay? We do not want the responsibility of this thing. I mean, you have to
it's
say
very durable, actually. Titanium has it's one of the lightest metals, and relative to aluminum or steel is extremely durable to heat and corrosion. So there's not really a lot of upkeep involved in this other than dusting it, actually.
So do you want to let us review it?
Yeah, it's possible. The thing is, we only have one in the world right now, so getting it to you, it's got another stop probably in Asia at one of our upcoming shows. So we'd have to probably send it back. Maybe when it makes its way to this side of the world again, we do it. That's if somebody doesn't buy it first. Again, I know you've been thinking of it, you've been reaching into your wallet, but you might want to think hard about it.
My wallet
this isn't quite an impulse buy, and I know you really want to go for it. But just think about it. You might want to, sleep on it a bit.
I'm gonna have to. What we have here is Bandai Tamashi Nation. Leo, I got that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It's Basquash.
It's an action figure.
There's only a few things you need to know, about 4. Kawamori, the animator, who's done Macross and so many things before. Basketball, for anybody who likes basketball. And hip-hop, too. We can maybe include that in the same one. A very popular sports brand. And also transformation robots and cars. I fit that all into one as well.
These are Kawamori design?
That's correct. He oversaw the animation of this new series, which is really hip, really trendy. There's been a lot of hip-hop basketball crossovers. I mean, Voltron has become an icon of hip-hop culture in a lot of ways. And this is something that we've brought into that frame as well. These are the first items that we have will be coming out in the fall. and they are the Dangango. The actual setting of the story is there's something called Bigfoot basketball, and these people competing against each other in these cars, these vehicles, these mecha on basketball courts. And then what comes out of that is the street version, which is called Basquash, and that's the name of the series. And the main characters compete in this Basquash tournament on this different world in a different galaxy. And they also have these different pets as well that are kind of like Pokemon in some way. So it's got a lot going for it. It's got mecha, it's got the pets, it's got some great characters piloting the mecha. It's really looking out to be a good line for us. Now we're starting out with these non-transformable items, but you can expect us to go into die-cast like a DX Chogoki type as well in the future. We are looking into the big boys as well.
Now I can't help but notice that one particular idea, that project, resembles a Cadillac.
Yes.
And this, I would say that was an AC Cobra right there.
That's right, it doesn't look like a Cobra. All this stuff is taken from a little bit of retro hot rod cars, and all of the cars are kind of based around that. You won't find any real new sports cars. It's all kind of that retro. Old school good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, shall we move forward? Here is Batman's Batpod. Adam reviewed this, did a great job on our website. But here it is, the Flesh in America. Is this going to be imported into America?
That's correct. Well, previously, I'm sure there were plenty of parallel imports that came in and people paying quite a bit of money. What we saw, and they said with Tamashi Nation, one of the things we want to work on is taking our Japanese aesthetic, especially with something like the movie realization series, which combines the talent of some top sculptors like Takeya Ando, and putting into comic book or movie properties. With The Dark Knight, this is also a collaboration with Masakaza Katsura, the famous animator, who worked with this as well. So through the design, which is on the box art as well, and Takeya actually sculpted this, and this is their own aesthetic take on The Dark Knight. And Warner has been extremely cooperative with us, Warner and DC, by letting us let them take this new take on it.
I'm sorry, you say it's a take, but I'm looking at the Batpod, and that's what it looks like.
Well, it looks like it is that, but you can see if you look close at like the Batman and even at the Batpod, and some of the ways it's colored, some of the ways it's shaped, that it does have some of the SIC dark qualities about it that are brought into there. You see the kind of organic features in Batman, the stuff that we see in a lot of Takeya works. Those have been brought into the series. This is something we hope we can continue with other popular characters here in the U.S. market.
Now, above Batman, I can't help but notice you about the Street Fighter.
Yeah, good transition. Speaking of good sculpts, and not so high price points either, this will be below $7, and it will be coming out in the States in a few months. And Capcom has been really letting us do this. We're going to take these Capcom figures, and you see a lot of high-end figures that are larger, higher price point, but if you look at these sculpts, they're really good. I mean, if you look at you over there, we didn't spare anything on this. We didn't mold his clothes on the same tooling. We actually separated it. You can see the way the gi flows off from the skin. You can see the sinews, the muscles. This is for the size, in a way similar to Robot Spirits. You know, it may be small, but it's got all that detail in it. We didn't spare a thing. The great sculpt. This is going to be a blind box. Again, the packaging is Japanese. It does have the 20th anniversary logo on it. That's something we're celebrating. We're celebrating a lot of history. Gundam's 30th anniversary. We'll get back to you later with the 40th anniversary of Man's first walk on the moon. Lots to celebrate.
Alright, you may know Kamen Rider and Dragon Knight in America. The Bandai product. Well, this is Japanese version.
That's correct. Japanese version Yuki, this was released years ago in our SIC series that takes the talent of sculptors like Takeya and Ando. It's not like I was explaining with our movie realization. We previously had released different Yuki characters under the SIC umbrella, and we're showing them off here today to show another side of the Kamen Rider brand. A lot of people here, a lot of our fans know the tokusatsu genre very well. They know this series, they're big fans. We've never really been able to officially release or display, although we did have have a big display last year with Takeya signing books and signing toys. We had our SIC Hokkaido out there, but we just wanted to celebrate our sister company Bandai America with their release, and they did a wonderful job with Dragon Knight, Adnis, and Bandai America. And we were here, we just wanted to show what we've done here in Japan, show that aesthetic, and also show images. We're playing on our screen some images from footage from the actual show, which is they've done an unbelievable job.
Scooch in a little bit, and then turn this way, that way. There you go, that way. You're facing. All right.
Well, Tamashi Nations is the core collector's brand in Bandai, and everything is 15 years and up. But we have all sorts of price points, 500, 1,000. We saw 20,000 back there before. But we do have our impulse buys and closed package products, and these have been really popular for us. They're selling very well right now in the U.S. And one of the things we're focusing on right now is Full Metal Alchemist. The Full Metal Alchemist look really good in this cute motif, the SD figures over here, super deforme. Getting a lot of good feedback. They are in the closed box. In addition to that, we're celebrating Gundam 30th anniversary. We have our 30th anniversary edition up there. This series is called Prop Plus Petite. And also another one we have is our Petite Eva over here, a new R style, which we've released this in the past. It's very popular in the US. We've made bigger figures. Also, we have a figure from the new Evangelion movie, and that's illustrious Mary over there.
All right. So we swapped spots. I got out from behind the camera because this is my gig. It's Saint Seiya, Lost Canvas actually. So Adam, what is going on here? Maybe you speak what's going on with Lost Canvas?
Seiya has not been out in the States for, I don't know, do you know when? You'd have a better idea than I would.
I think it was Knights of the Zodiac, and that was late 90s.
Right. So we're well overdue for something. And we brought in the newest anime, actually, which come from the manga series, of course, The Lost Canvas, which is a completely different take on the story.
It's a
very
prequel,
interesting.
Correct?
What's that?
Prequel to the
well, it is. It is. And, well, you have these characters that are childhood friends, and then, it's unfortunately they don't get along when they grow up. One becomes a king of Hades, one has to be a knight in Mythloth, but, sometimes things go that way. We can't always be friends.
Look fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to start out with Pegasus, of course. We're going to start with the main character. We'll be going into Benu, one of the Hades specters. After this, we didn't want to put our prototype up here because we wanted to wait until it has more of the bling on it. It's all about the bling. Seiya's all about the bling.
And this trailer is in English. What can you tell me about it?
Well, the licensor TMS, they have made this trailer. They have been very aggressive about trying to get into this market. Seiya was something that maybe was never done correctly in the US market, but a lot of people say it was a cultural thing, but I know you probably have more opinions and details on that.
I agree. I think maybe it's just the way it's been presented and maybe a good place to
for us, actually, believe it or not, not a lot of people know this. In the US, they think the Tamashi Nations is mostly about Chogoki, but our most popular line globally, and this is outside of North America, and Latin America, Seiya is very popular, but Seiya is our most popular global line when you think about Europe, Latin America, and of course Asia. We have our biggest following in actually this category. We hope to bring some of that into the US as well. It's a great line for people who like action figures, accessories. I have a lot of people asking about this. People who collect Mattel items asking me about when's Seiya coming out? When are you going to bring Seiya in?
I agree. I'm looking forward to it. I think we definitely need some English speaking of Seiya. At CDX, I'm doing my part to bring it back to the masses.
Thank you so much.
There you go.
Moving forward, we got the GX46 from Super Robot Wars. I think I'm trying to pronounce this, but I will. Daizenga and okay, what's the other one?
I think it's Alzen Cider, but that sounded more like apple cider when I said it, so maybe we should just skip it and call it Super Robot Wars.
Super Robot Wars.
One of the two most popular characters, one combines to be a rider and a horse. We've seen this out in the US before, but nothing in die-cast. Nobody does die-cast like we do, so we got to do it in die-cast. Of course, when you build robots this big in die-cast, it's unfortunately hard to get into a lower price point. We didn't spare any detail on this. This will be around, we currently have a plan for around $280, $290 price point. I know a lot of people are saying
3 big ones.
Yeah, a lot of people are going, wow, that's an expensive Chogoki there. But to be honest with you, this has done really well for us. It's the initial response from at least the retailers has been great. A lot of people looking forward to this. This is the price point we sold it in Japan. So we're not selling you parallel imports price. You are getting the same price point you got that everybody else got in Japan.
And you keep in mind, it is two figures. You're getting two figures.
That's right. It is 2-in-1, and that's one way to look at it. I look at it as 3-in-1 because one of them is transformable. And if you look at the accessories you have on the stand, there's a lot in this box.
Now, are those extra legs that you understand?
Yeah, we didn't spare anything with this. You know, I mean, some of our stands are sparse, and that's okay, but in a sense, we have a lot of accessories on the stand.
Oh, it looks fantastic. And up here, I can't help but notice the spec.
Right, we were talking about the Tamashi spec earlier with the composite material. This has gotten a lot of response, and I didn't know this, but Tekkaman blade with Pegasus. Tekkaman blade was apparently big in the 80s here in the US. I didn't know that. It was called Technoman or something is what I hear.
Wasn't it a different mechanism in that one?
Was there? I didn't know that, but a lot of people were talking about it throughout the show. Something that we didn't know, that it was really big in the US. So a lot of people asking about this, say they can't wait till it comes out. We will have it out in the fall.
You know, that's the final packaging right there?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, that's very nice. That's going to have the die-cast content?
That's right. Like spec we were talking about before with our GFFN, using composite material, some die-cast, some ABS, some PVC, to bring out the details. Again, the Tamashi spec is very high articulation. It's always been that way. And that's what we took down to our robot spirits in more condensed form.
Now, the price point on that one, what do you expect?
This one, actually, we have our price code up. It's about $150. Again, you're getting kind of a 2-for-1 in this case as well.
150 for what it looks like, not holding it. Okay. What it looks like, it looks like it's worth that price point. And next to what's this little guy next to?
Well, we wanted to do something with our figure arts line, and last year we had a lot of Kamen Rider out. And what we wanted to do for Kamen Rider this year is focus on Dragon Knight, of course. So we let that happen at 2 different series, and we'll explain one later when we showed you the SIC ones before. But here we brought in something that's been really popular for us in Japan. It's unique, and it's not a big property here. It's Apocalypse Zero. It's pretty graphic, and this is called the Zero. We just brought this out here because this figure really illustrates how well we do with this line. Figure arts is also about, like Tamashi spec, high articulation. And this one, in this case, also using some metallic die-cast parts on it as well, which is we don't do so often in the series, but we are doing here.
Very impressive thing. It's very neat.
This one's called the Zero.
Now, is that the mecha or is that someone in the costume?
It's somebody in a suit. In Japan, it's called Hakugo no Susume. It's called Apocalypse Zero, I believe. It started out as it's a manga series, actually. Very popular, very graphic. I'm sure if it were reintroduced, it would make some sort of impact. And the people who know it, they have some sort of cultish following to this character.
Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, good.
That's right. We're looking at our Tamashi Collector series here, which is our most high-end series. This is not, I know you guys are into die-cast, this is all poly resin, which you see in a lot of the other booths. But we've done this series for us has mainly been about Kamen Rider, and this year again, emphasizing the popularity of Dragon Knight. We displayed our Yuki or Dragon Knight here. Great stance. This is about not only replicating the figure in as much detail as possible, using the right material to do so, but we do also have gimmicks, and that's not illustrated here because we have a prototype. The final items do have a lot of sound gimmicks, the transformation, the henshin gimmicks, the light up in the eye area. You will expect to have this in this one as well. I don't have the exact price point on this, but the ones that we've released before have mainly fluctuated around, I would say, the first one we did 5s was $555 around, I think. Well, we did, no, sorry, 555 units. I believe that was around $600. You can expect this to be around somewhere between $500 to $800 is my estimate right now.
So it's basically just like a fixed pose figure.
That's correct. But it will have sound and light. Again, you're dealing with a poly resin. It's a 1/3 scale. They're all 1/3 scale in this line.
It's a nice figure. Well, walk forward and show us the new Chigo Chogoki line.
Yeah, we showed you the UMC, the Urban Material Chogoki. This is our Ultimo Chogoki for adults, for astute collectors. Not always, what we want to do is we wanted to make a non-character Chogoki series, is basically what we wanted to do. And Chogoki is about portraying anything in diecast, whether it be a tofu head or the Saturn V and the Apollo 11, who just celebrated, well, the Apollo 11, I should say, celebrated its 40th anniversary of touching down on the moon a few days ago. So we're doing that. We brought that here to celebrate that. We have that in the Tokyo Toy Show as well. This is just a prototype. It's plastic. The final one will incorporate a lot of diecast.
Now, is this all included in this one set?
That's correct. And there's also a little guy who's standing on the moon in an American flag. But we did not bring him over here. He was just too small.
Now, what was the price point on something like this?
We will estimate this will be around somewhere between 400 and 600. So we've got about 500. When you stack this up, it's very tall. And one of the interesting things about this is seeing the sense of scale, how it breaks down. If you look at the lander and you think about combining the Saturn V together, you get the relative. If we had the figure in there, I mean, it would be you could almost imagine how small it would be in relation to the Saturn V. The sense of scale in this, and I think that's something that will be a focus in other items that will come out in the series. And for adults, for us, our age is 15 and up. 40, 60, 70, 80. The people who were there who actually saw this 40 years ago. This is really for them because you never lose your sense of wonderment.
Wow. Okay, now we have the 1/35th scale RX-78, which actually has been out for a while.
Well, we had this on display as a reference item in our Tamashi Nations event, which Josh came out to end of March, I believe.
Make sure you check out that video too.
Yeah. And so this is on display again. Everybody's been talking now. This is a 1/35th scale, which is cool because it's the size of, like, you remember the military series, 1/35th tank spears. So this is like something you could put a tank right by it and just imagine him just stepping on it. What mainly what people have been talking about as far as the RX-78 is concerned is the 1-to-1 scale that's out in Odaiba in Japan right now. It's like the size of a building. But this is a bit smaller than that, unfortunately. 1/35th is the size of that one. But this is also part of our Tamashi Collector series, and this is what it is actually a collaboration with the Gundam Fix series. So the series that Hajime Katoki sculpts for us. Great detail. Now this is just the reference prototype. The final product will open up with different hatches. The cockpit will open up. You'll see the full detail. We will have light up in the eyes.
Now, for some reason, I honestly thought this was out already. I'm probably thinking of a different one.
You may be thinking about the same scale item, perhaps. I think we have a jumbo high grade. Maybe you're thinking from our hobby department. It could be an assembly model you might be thinking about.
Okay.
But no, this is a poly resin, pre-painted, pre-colored, pre-assembled, but I think it will require some simple assembly. Just your torso, legs.
Is this fixed like the other figures?
Yeah, well, this is a Gundam Fix, but there are, I should say, workable parts like hatches that will be on there. But again, this is a display piece. You're looking at an art piece. We estimate that this will run around $1,000.
Whoa.
Yes.
Well, I'll have to get that when I get the thing.
It's not our most expensive though, as far as Gundam. If you remember, we released the Platinum Gundam with the diamond antennas. We showed at a Swiss watch fair that was, I think, 100,000 or more US dollars. It may have been 200,000. But this is again with a 4-digit range still. We haven't gone to the 5-digit range like Massacre with Gundam yet. Not yet.
Well, folks, get your pockets out. You're gonna have to pick one for this one. But it is nice. Adam, I'd like to thank you for sharing with us today, showing us everything.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. A lot of fun.